Hello everyone, and welcome back to another spooktacular episode! Today, we're going to be talking about Necrovites. In this video, we're going to talk about what a Necrovite is, the lore behind them, how to become a Necrovite, and give you some ideas for using Necrovites in your game. Information on Necrovites can be found on page 80 of the Alien Archive 1. Basically, Necrovites are space liches. Wait, I already did that joke. But in all seriousness, liches and Necrovites are very similar. If you got a classic lich and a Necrovite in a room, the lich would probably go on a rant about,
"You kids these days can't do anything without a computer. In my day, if we wanted to know the secrets of life and death, we had to find a forbidden tome of knowledge, locked away in a forgotten crypt. And then we had to find reagents without Amazons or your horseless carriages."
Shut the f*** up, boomer. In your day, you could just walk into a town and say, "No, I'm not a necromancer," and then have at least 6 months to fortify your lair before 10 guys with 20 sticks, aka the town guard, or murder hobos start kicking down your door. I guarantee if you tried that the PDF would be bombarding you within a week.
The only major difference is that while a lich will use a phylactery to house their soul and keep it tethered to the material plane, a Necrovite will use an electroencephalon. And the only real difference between a phylactery and an electroencephalon is that an electroencephalon will have some technological components used in its construction. And with a high enough engineering check, you can probably get it to play Doom. Like most spooky and undead things in Starfinder, Necrovites originate from Eox. The first Necrovites were created out of necessity by the ruling class of Elebrins on Eox. After whatever superweapon they created to destroy Daimir and Ivo backfired and turned Eox from a nice place to live to the magically radioactive hellscape that it currently is today. The ruling Elebrins of Eox decided that this whole being alive thing was so 2000 and late, and dusted off their old necromancy textbooks from college and started cramming like their life depended on it. One thing to keep in mind is that not every Elebrin that survived became a Necrovite. Some became vampires, ghouls, other intelligent undead, and there are even still a small population of living Elebrins on Eox. However, these Elebrins mostly live in vaults underneath Eox, and are treated as second-class citizens. Those who were able to transform into Necrovites formed the backbone of the Bone Sages, which are the heads of the feudal political system on Eox. The only difference between your standard lord and a Bone Sage is that being a powerful undead is more of a job requirement instead of a dirty little secret. So if you think that becoming a powerful, immortal, undead space necromancer sounds like a good career move, this is something that you can actually do. And the process for becoming a Necrovite can be found on page 81 of the Alien Archive 1. However, this is not a quick and easy process, and most of what you would have to do is up to GM interpretation. And even the book says that just learning how to become one could take months, years, or even decades. So before you try to become a Necrovite, have a talk with your GM first, because making the side quests alone for you is going to cause a lot of additional work for them. Unless they just throw stuff like books on necromancy and spooky things to make your electroencephalon into random quest rewards, which sounds kind of lazy to me, but you don't come to my work and kick the dick out of my mouth, so I'm not going to tell you how to run your table. Like I said, the book doesn't have any hard and fast rules, but more so guidelines for how to become a Necrovite. But here's the process that I would have my player go through. The R&D would cost 200,000 credits. However, this could be paid for by things like collecting dead bodies and experimenting on them, obtaining and reading various magic books, obtaining magic items, and collecting favors from magic users or people who could help you get what you need to become a Necrovite. I would have them complete at least 2 quests. One would be a quest where they would have to get a MacGuffin from a place, and the second quest would be them getting what they need as a quest reward. For example, let's say an Eoxian politician has you do a job, and while everyone else would be paid in credits or loot, the player would be given some one-on-one time with a Necrovite. As for skill checks, I would have them need to pass 1 skill check per 25,000 credits worth of research that they have completed, and that they can re-roll a failure as many times as necessary, but they have to wait an in-game week between skill checks. As for time, that depends on the player and how much time and money they're throwing into it. Personally, if they are being smart and really going the extra mile, like rereading the books that they bought during downtime, or performing necromantic experiments while everyone else is getting drunk at the bar, I would count that as
bonus points.
Bonus points?
towards them becoming a Necrovite. After that, all you have to do is make the Electroencephalon, which, if you've been paying attention, is the thing that houses the Necrovite's soul and allows them to reform after being killed. The book doesn't exactly say this, but from what I can tell, you can destroy a Necrovite's Electroencephalon and it'll be okay. Extremely worried that it can now die, but okay. And all they would have to do is craft another Electroencephalon, and they're free to die as many times as they want again. The rules for making an Electroencephalon follow the same rules as regular crafting, except that the crafter has to be a 7th level caster and make it for themselves. As for price, the book suggests that the Electroencephalon costs as much as a small arm of the caster's level. Speaking of the item level of the Electroencephalon will be the same as the caster's level at the time it was made. Once all that is done, your character will now be a baby Necrovite. It'll have the undead creature type and get the following abilities: Fast Healing, Fatigue Aura, Immunity to Cold and Electricity, Rejuvenation, Undead Mastery, 2 Technomancer hacks or 2 Mystic Connection powers based on their level. They would also get Bluff, Computers, Mysticism, and Sense Motive as master skills. They can also choose spells from the Mystic and Technomancer list when getting new spells. Keep in mind, the Alien Archive one was written before Witchwarper was a thing, so it's up to your GM if they would allow you to get spells from the Witchwarper spell list. They also suggest giving an ability score increase, but again they leave it up to the GM. I would give my player a +2 ability score increase to their key ability score, even if it would take that score over 20. So if you're looking for a few ways to have a Necrovite in your game, here are a few ideas. One idea would be to have Zoe, the host of the popular Eoxian reality TV show,
Halls of the Living,
would hire you to find and extract a contestant that they lost contact with. Not only is this person a fan favorite for the season, but they neglected to sign some paperwork that would allow Zoe to use their likeness for merchandising purposes, and that their family could sue them if something were to happen to them. And in return, Zoe could give your Technomancer a few private lessons on Necromancy, and the rest of the party would be paid in a more traditional sense. Another idea would be that you're hired by a Necrovite who is barricaded in a safe room, because during a fight with some home intruders, his Electroencephalon was destroyed, and he is freaking out. I need you to gather some exotic components so that he can remake it, and won't come out until you deliver the components and he can make it again. Lastly, you could go all out and have your players go through the Space Station of Horrors, which by the way is a completely original and non-copyright infringing dungeon. And after many a challenging room, they must face Acererak and lay her low. Well everyone, that's going to wrap up this video on Necrovites. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please give this video a like and share it with your friends. This really helps me out more than you know. And if you want to see more content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, if you made it this far into the video, comment about a time that you had a Necrovite in your game, or tell me how you would use one in your game. And as always, hey you rascal, thank you for watching our video. Click here to subscribe, click here to watch one of our newer videos, and click here if you feel like watching something random. Have a great day.
Mono. Voci tem certificacao de empel hadiura?